All right, let's get right into it. Today we're tackling the big one, the question that's on every XRP holder's mind. What could this coin actually be worth by 2026? We're going to dive deep into the expert predictions, unpack all the reasons for optimism, and of course, look at the risks that could get in the way.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll frame the big question. Then we'll explore the whole spectrum of price predictions out there. After that, we'll look at what could send the price soaring and what could hold it back. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the one key takeaway you need. Sound good? Let's go.
Okay, so let's set the stage. You know how it is in crypto. Everyone's always trying to look around the corner. And for XRP, 2026 is shaping up to be a really important year.
This right here, this is the question. It's what drives all the speculation, all the analysis, all the debate. And it's not just about a number. It's about the future of an asset that was built to completely change how money moves around the world.
But before we get into predictions, we need a baseline, a starting point. Right now, as of late 2025, XRP is trading around $2.10. Just lock that number in your mind, because every single forecast we're about to look at starts from here.
All right, now for the core of it. The thing is, experts aren't just giving one magic number. They're talking about a range of possibilities. Different scenarios based on how things play out. So we're going to look at all three: the conservative, the moderate, and the really optimistic view.
You should think of these less as predictions and more like potential storylines for XRP's future. Each path is built on a totally different set of assumptions about things like regulation, how many people start using it, and just the overall health of the crypto market.
Okay, this slide really lays it all out. Just take a second to look at these numbers. So on the conservative side, if things grow kind of slow, analysts see XRP somewhere between, say, $1.50 and $2.20. The moderate scenario, which is where things like ETF money start to come in, has an average target around $3.50. And then you've got the optimistic case. We're talking mass adoption, which could push the average price toward $10, with some people even seeing highs of $18 or more. The key thing to see here is that every price has a story behind it.
So if we boil all that data down to one key number, the general consensus for a realistic average target seems to be landing somewhere between $3.50 and $5. Now, from where we are today, that's a potential jump of 75 to 150%. That's a serious gain, but it's still grounded in some pretty moderate assumptions. So what's actually pulling the price in these different directions? Well, you can really think of it like a tug of war. On one side, you have some incredibly powerful reasons to be optimistic, but on the other, you've got some very real reasons to be cautious. Let's break down both sides.
First, let's talk about the bull case. What are the big catalysts that could actually launch XRP toward those higher price targets we just looked at?
Man, this slide really captures it. The first huge driver is institutional money. I mean, the Canary XRP ETF pulling in $250 million right at its debut, that is a massive vote of confidence. Then you've got Ripple's own ecosystem just blowing up, not just with its new RLUSD stablecoin, but also by going after the $16 trillion market for tokenizing real-world assets. That's huge. You combine that with the usual bullish altcoin cycle and some serious hype on social media, and you've got a powerful recipe for a price explosion.
But of course, it can't all be good news. No analysis is worth anything if you don't look at the other side of the coin. For a balanced view, we have to understand the headwinds that could totally stall out XRP's momentum.
And these are the big ones that keep analysts up at night. Regulatory uncertainty is always a major factor in crypto. Then there's the chance that a huge market downturn just drags everything down with it, which could easily send XRP back to that $1.50 to $2 range. Competition's also heating up, even from the old guard like Swift. And finally, there's the risk of adoption lag. What if all these banks just keep running tests but never actually commit? That could lead to total stagnation.
Okay, we've seen the numbers, we've seen the bull case, we've seen the bear case. So let's pull this all together for the final takeaway. How can you make sense of all this information?
Here's a pretty simple framework. First, just focus on the fundamentals. Is big money really flowing into those ETFs? Is the new stablecoin actually being used? Second, track the key metrics, like the transaction volume on the XRP ledger itself. Is usage actually growing? And third, and this is the most important, always remember the risks. These are just forecasts, not guarantees, so being diversified is absolutely key.
And this quote from the source material really just says it all, doesn't it? No matter how much data we crunch, no matter how many charts we look at, the crypto market is and always will be speculative by nature. It's just so important to remember that. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you've seen the whole range of possibilities, the exciting catalysts and the serious risks, where do you personally see XRP heading? It's a complex picture for sure, but it's going to be fascinating to watch it all unfold. Thanks for tuning in.
Please subscribe and like.